Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy X. I'm Nye, and that's Mako. So, this is take 2 of this episode, because, one, we missed a couple of things that we needed to get done, and, that's actually basically it. We just missed a couple things we need to get done. So, we need to come back into the Chocobo room here.
Because that's where we find our next Albed primer.
Exactly. But it's also partly that I don't know if we even went into this room
No, we
in
did.
the last episode. I know we did in the one... I know that we did at some point during the recording, but I don't remember if it was last episode or this episode. But we do get the discussion about the giant chickens, so I suppose that kind of helps.
I mean, it's chocobos. You just can't say no to chocobos.
Well, I think one of the things that Tidus is thinking when he looks at these things is... Well, I know what chocobos are, but when I first learned about chocobos back in Xanarkand, they were tiny chickens. This is evolution at work. So I just picked up my next Albed primer there. It was this tiny book, basically where I'm standing right now. It's very hard to see. That's why we didn't get it last time. Now, unfortunately, you guys will not get to hear the amazement in our voices as we go to the next thing. Because neither of us knew that this was possible. And, this was really special. So we got the remedy. Talked to Bada over here, who's seasick. I think is this Keepa? This is Keepa, who's hiding, so he's gonna get sick if he watches. And then you go and you interact with this suitcase. You kick it, and a potion falls out. And you do this a lot. Like, I think it works 7 times.
7 or 8 times, depending, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was interacting with just everything as we walked through the first time, and all of a sudden this happened, and we both went, what? What is this nonsense? Unfortunately, I have gotten all that I can out of it. So that's that. We also can go talk to these two idiots. Hello.
I'm not at liberty to talk about our plan.
And I remember saying last night, this is the Milkman conspiracy. What do you know about the Milkman? What is the purpose of the goggles? No, I'm sorry, that was your line.
That was my line.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not at liberty to talk about our plan.
And of course, we can go have a word with the overly rude Owaka.
Yeah, so if we go talk to Owaka, he asks us to give him money. Remember, he's the one who said we looked like we had no money and insulted our clothing. But the thing about Owaka is that if you give him money, well, let Mako explain it.
If you give him money, then later on in the game, in case you hadn't already worked it out, since he has got a voice and a name, we're going to see him several times. And he's always going to show up in those places where there aren't other merchants. And when he does, he sells us stuff at exorbitant prices. But if you give him money when he asks, he starts knocking those prices down. And from about 1,000 gil on, he'll only start charging you about 20% more than ticket price. It starts at 100% more, and it goes down as you give him more and more.
Now, the thing about Owaka is that also he'll only ever ask once per location. So, when he asks you, that's when you need to do it. If you fail to do it, you will not get another chance. That I recall.
We should also mention that I think it takes... Hang on, I had the list in front of me a moment ago.
I think he said like 10,000 total.
It's something like 10,000 gil to actually get him to not charge you an arm and a leg. At 10,000 gil, he actually starts knocking costs off the price.
More than that, whenever he shows up, whatever he's selling is something you really want for wherever you are. The one I can really remember is that in a certain section of the game, characters can get zombied, which means they take damage from healing. And he's the only character anywhere nearby that sells holy water, which is the way to get rid of that.
Here we are. From 0 to 100 gil, all the items and weapons he sells are 100% up. From 101 gil to 1,000 gil, it's 50% increase. From 1,001 to 10,000, it's a 20% increase. And from 10,001 onwards, he'll give you a 30% discount.
Yeah.
Off ticket price.
And because of his unique sales, the things that he sells that no one else does, and his timeliness, we really want him to be happy with us. So we have now learned that she is Lord Braska's daughter. Lord Braska being a high summoner.
We saw his statue. we saw his statue way back in the first temple.
Mhm.
Kimahri's not going to talk to you. Hell, Kimahri rarely talks to anyone.
Well, after we learn this about Yuna, then we can go back and talk to Wakka, who will then tell us that, yeah, she's, you saw his statue at the temple. Wakka will tell us that, because that's a thing. She's kind of a celebrity. She's like the daughter of a celebrity, and she's also a celebrity in and of herself. You know, she's kind of special that way. And Tidus knows all about having a famous dad. Here comes, you know, Lulu, showing that among the other accessories she has, an acerbic wit and a want to insult Wakka is one of those. And just like every other accessory she holds, she overcompensates with it too. I think we can actually talk to Lulu one more time. There's something she says now? Nope, never mind. That's on the next boat. Okay, well, let's go talk to Yuna and see what she has to say.
Quite a lot, as it turns out.
Mm-hmm. We also see one of the more disturbing parts of how the game is animated. Specifically, watch whenever the camera is under or is below the parallel line to Tidus' face specifically. Notice how now we're doing an upshot on Yuna as she just like reluctantly walks to the side. But look for any undershots of Tidus when he opens his mouth. It's terrifying. And he opens his mouth a lot. Wait, ready? Here it comes.
It's nice.
And there's some more, you know, Shatner talk. See, look. Here, Tidus opens his mouth. It gets really wide, and then it goes away. And it's going to happen again. As he has a seizure. I think he's supposed to be feeling the wind or something. That's what I gather.
Insert "I'm king of the world" joke here.
Yep. Okay, so here comes the camera.
You're a blitzball player, aren't you? From
Okay, so now the camera's underneath. Look, see, watch, look. His mouth never ends. It extends to the back of his skull, and he's got a neck that goes on for miles. It's terrifying. Like, he could be a sword swallower, or a blitzball swallower, or a something else swallower. Like, the inside of his head is bigger than the outside of his head.
All lit up, even at night.
There's not much in there to begin with, so...
Yeah, exactly.
And the stands are always
Well, it applies to all the characters. They all have that issue, especially if you notice that, especially when their mouths go really wide. Yuna doesn't do it much, but Tidus does it all the time when he's surprised. His mouth just goes, whom.
As the old saying goes, he's catching flies.
His name is Jack.
Pretty much.
amazing.
Amazing, it's a miracle! There are two names that are identical in this world.
You know, our meeting like this must be the blessing of Yed.
You know, I love... It's something I've always noticed. Not necessarily a good thing, but I've always noticed that whenever you have characters in the older games, a lot of the things on them are articulated. Like, eyes move, you know, eyelids blink, lips move. You know, you can even watch the corners of his mouth twitch. But they never got hands.
They wanted to sort of animate the stuff that would actually make the character look lifelike, I think, because, you know, they hadn't quite gotten the animation down pat.
I know, but it's the hands thing. The hands are always Barbie doll. Like, if you watch Tidus' hands anytime they're at rest, every so often he will actually do something with his fingers. But otherwise, they're always at this, like, G.I. Joe, please insert weapon here state. Seriously, watch. It'll happen. Wait till, it's especially bad when he's leaning on that rope. But you can't see it now because I didn't put it out fast enough. But, like, you'll notice his shoulders move, his chest moves a little bit, he's rocking a little bit back and forth. There's a lot of movement to him. Yuna's hair actually wavers in the breeze, or it's having a seizure, I can't tell. But, like, all of that happens, but even the rope's moving in the background. Well, now we're not going to see it, because
plot.
Because plot's happening. All of a sudden, the very fair ocean, you know, with the there's no storm above us ocean, the graphics go HD, and now the waves are taller than the ship. All of a sudden, things happen. Seriously. Like, that wave is bigger. And then, look what the camera says right now. Nope, there's nothing going on. There are no waves right now. See? There are no waves. None whatsoever. Flat ocean. Until the HD graphics come back. Well, there's small waves. And then the HD graphics come back, and look! Ocean! Also, gigantic thing. It's a breaching whale. No, it's...
Sin!
Gazira!
No, it is something that looks similar but is
Completely
legally distinct
different.
from...
But not.
We don't want to get sued.
I do think this is a decent thing. This is a great way for the game to say how the priorities for people of this world are. Yuna's a very important celebrity, but she accepts that she is going to die to stop Sin from reaching Kilika. And everybody on the boat, except for Wakka, also understands this and assents to this.
Well, it's more like she's a summoner. Summoners are great people, but there will be more summoners. There have been dozens before.
There will be more villages. There have been dozens before. I'm sure that village has been destroyed tons of times.
Boy, howdy, do you ain't just whistling Dixie. Kilika gets it so many times, it's just not funny.
Yeah. Okay. HD graphics, waves. And the HD graphics, his hands do move. Also, torpedo attack! I always love that those things torpedo in. Okay. But now it's time for a boss fight. And Kimahri has finally joined the party.
Yes, but unfortunately we're not going to learn very much about him until later.
Nope, he's not useful. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and have...
You want to make sure that everybody attacks at least once, so they get in on the delicious XP.
Not necessarily attacks. Doesn't have to be attack. They have to commit some sort of action that changes the course of battle. They can attack, they can cast a spell, they can buff, anything.
At this point, I was going to say, at this point, attack is really all they can do. With possible exception of, like, Lulu.
Let's change over to this, and... do I want Lulu to burninate? Yes, I want Lulu to burninate. So, the only reason I'm killing these things is specifically so everybody gets a chance to attack. Now, we're gonna kind of mildly kill them. They're gonna kind of happen. But what's important is that we attack that big fin thing up here. Wakka even comments on it. You know, Lulu says, "The fin, that's where they're coming from." Attacks such cannot hit targets at a distance, such as Sin's fin. Attack these enemies using magic or Wakka's Blitzball attack. So we're gonna do both, but we have to kill as many. You know what? You know what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do.
Anytime something starts flickering, you want to let him have it.
We're gonna let him have it. Hey, Valefor, buddy, pal, friend.
Huh.
We could use your attention.
Not just that, but Valefor is all charged up for a super attack.
Yep. I told you how I do this.
I don't remember if you can actually hit this fin from here with the Valefor's super attack.
Well, let's find out.
We're gonna find out.
It says it hits all... No. Oh, I can choose one or the other. I wonder which one I should attack. I don't know how Valefor's, how his minigame works. Or does he even have a minigame?
He doesn't have one. He just blows the giant laser.
Kaboom! By the way, Valefor just did 1,100 damage. The fin only has 2,000 health. I just half health the thing in one attack. Now this is where things get really funny. Also, Valefor has huge delay after using that ult, so everybody else gets like two attack rounds. But notice how much of my overdrive is charged up again. I'm already at 25%.
They gain the Aeons gain energy quite quickly.
Yep. I mean, I'm losing a lot of health getting it. Okay, we're finally back in action. Okay, let's see about killing some of these things. Can I kill any of these things? You know, we're going to black magic this, because Veil 4 has MP. You, die. The nice thing about Veil 4, the nice thing about any Aeon, is that their HP is completely separate from the HP of any other party member. They make really good tanks.
When you're not quite sure what's going to happen.
If you don't know a boss,
Well, with one exception, but we'll get to him in due course.
yeah, eventually. There will always be that one boss to which the strategy does not work. Black magic, fire. Thud him. Just building up overdrive. It's only going to take one more spell cast and my overdrive will be complete, and then we're going to kill Sin. You know, funnily enough, even though we're using a faster strategy, we're still not moving faster than the last version of this episode.
Huh.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna kill that thing. The ones that have flickering spines, they're kind of terrifying. They do a lot of damage. And
The average
Veil 4's back.
the average Sin Spawn's attack will do about 30 to 50 damage. The flickering attack does about 200 to 250, which will that's just usually about half of the health of just about everyone in your team except possibly Kamari.
Mm-hmm.
And it will, if you're not careful, floor Lulu and Yuna in just about one hit, so...
Potentially, yeah. Thud, thud, thud. Overkill. Ooh, I got an overkill on that one.
Nice.
Now, we only did about 100 extra damage, all told. So, we didn't do that much damage.
So I think it's about 10% then.
Yep.
Oh, I worked it out.
That's a piece of Sin. We just knocked another piece of Sin into the water. That's another piece of Sin. That's even bigger than the boat. Sin's about 10 times the size of that boat.
Sin's about the size of a small island, as we'll get to see in a little bit. Remember how we were wondering how long Waka's darkness lasts for? It says it lasts for 3 turns. That's 3 actions of the enemy. Not 3 turns overall. It's literally
Three
after the
actions of the entire enemy team, though?
3 actions of that particular enemy.
I thought it was 5.
Hang on. I have him... Let me just get back to you on that.
I mean, we're going to see it in a second, because
yeah.
Tidus just went missing, so Waka's response is, well, Sin's in the water. Quick, dive after Tidus.
His skill name says inflicts darkness on an enemy for 3 turns. So...
Well, Tidus is boned. He's being eaten alive by those things. And out of nowhere, Blitzball, which is so good, it ricochets off of multiple targets.
and then returns to its owner.
But Waka will not be able to repeat this action in combat.
And here we see one of the very rare cases of an item being used outside of combat.
Like an indication that they're actually aware that items exist when not fighting people. This is also an indication that there's no actual communication underwater. Even though they can apparently breathe liquid, they can't actually speak underwater. Also, this thing looks really disgusting. I don't know why, it's the ribbed muscle, I think, that you can just see. There's something off about that.
There's something about squids that never looks very nice to begin with.
So, I'm going to hold on to swordplay for the time being. That would be Tidus's ult. We're going to try to overkill this thing. Okay, so Dark Attack will inflict darkness on this thing. This thing is, oddly enough, unlike many enemies, this thing is not immune to darkness. Or unlike many bosses.
This will make its Drain Touch much less likely to hit, but it unfortunately won't work on its other ability.
Hunter's Sword gives me Sensor, so we'll just switch out for that. Oh, that doesn't even take an action either.
Nice. Yes, as far as I can tell, the darkness lasts for 3 of its turns.
Yeah,
So
it's probably true. So we're just going to completely ignore the sin scales to either side, because all they do is do a single attack against Waka or Riku, or Waka or Tidus, and then they're gone. So attacking them is pointless, because we can't keep them down. Wow, Tidus just hit with 2 crits in a row.
Tidus is good with crits,
Mhm.
but you know that's because he's super fast.
There comes Blender. I love that weird like light effect that's on that thing. The same effect happens to enchanted items in, that's 3 crits in a row. That same effect can be found on enchanted items in The Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and I've always loved the look of that.
All right, well, I think you're just about ready to let him have it with that overkill.
Yep. Uh-oh. Okay, he missed. Good.
Well,
Darkness.
he's blind.
Yes. Okay, swordplay, spiral cut. Ugh. Can I wait? I want to wait one more turn. Can I wait?
Press triangle.
Okay, we're going to wait. Because I want Waka to do an attack first. Okay. Swordplay, spiral cut. Let's kill this thing.
And you goofed the...
Okay. And he's done.
No
And that's a
overkill,
lot of
but
experience,
every...
everybody.
So no overkill, but you get about 2.5 Scipio levels for just about everyone, except Kimahri.
And a lot of power spheres, and a blue armlet, and a blue bangle.
Now, a funny thing about this guy, the equipment you get off of this guy, it's semi-random. I've seen a whole bunch of different stuff drop off of him, and all of it is, like, of the ice quality. Or the water quality. When I played
Ton
through...
stuff off him.
When I played through, for example, he dropped a weapon for Lulu that was ice element.
Yeah. I think a lot of the bosses are like that. And if you actually manage the overkill, which unfortunately I was distracted when I was trying to do it, when you actually land the overkill means you have a higher chance of dropping items, too. Dropping nice items, too. So, bad things are happening. This is Kilika, by the way. And we completely and totally failed to do anything to Sin. In any reasonable fashion. So here comes Sin. The water cascades off of it. Sin has this really weird effect on water. Also, this is very reminiscent of a dropping of an atomic bomb. And then there's also Sin's effect on everything else.
Yeah, this... hope you weren't hoping to get too, attached to this village.
I don't think anything will any longer be attached to this village.
Ooh.
But Sin has this really weird effect. With water, Sin has, almost forms a cohesive bond. It will stick to it as long as it possibly can before it falls off. And then everything else does this weird spiral thing up into the sky. And the first time we've seen an appreciable portion of Sin. Have you noticed that there's a building on its back?
Yeah, you gotta be seeing things.
Possibly. Possibly someone, attacked it with a gigantic spear or something. I don't know. Okay.
Sin attacked Xanarkand that day.
And then here goes Tidus complaining as usual.
Hoping it would work in reverse too.
I don't think he's complaining so much as he has been kinda hoping that this was all just a nasty dream.
I must defeat
Well, you'll notice a bunch of people just died. Bad things just happened, and all Tidus can think is, well, I'm not going home.
Maybe it was that day on the sea.
He is so freaking selfish at this point in the game.
I started to give up hope.
It's, everybody is devastated, and he's going, well, I'm not going home. Come on,
This
Tidus,
was
seriously.
my new reality, and I was stuck in it for good.
Yup, you are definitely stuck, bud. Also notice how this ship doesn't move unless we're in a cutscene. Have you noticed that? Unless we're in a high-quality cutscene, the ship doesn't move.
Well, how else are we gonna pay off the animators?
Yeah, well, there's that too. The ship kind of moves now, but it's more like the world is coming to the ship. Well, that was a thing. I do love that you do arrive at this town at sunset, which is it's very...
Set piecey?
Yeah.
Greetings. I am the summoner Yuna.
Which is not a word, and I'm fairly certain my English teacher would have me lynched for, but...
Well, the
If
E
there
kind
is
of
no
makes it
other
a
summoner here, please allow me to
descriptive
perform the sending.
word, so it kind of works.
Thanks, BT.
Our loved ones. We feared they would become fiends.
So apparently, if the sending is not performed, loved ones can become fiends. We've been fighting fiends, to give you an idea of what fiends are.
Fiend
a
is
thing.
sort of used as the catch-all term for monster.
Yep. Well, off goes all of them,
We'll go see what we can do to help in town.
and we need to help in town.
Well, they're going to go and help, but I don't think Tidus is going to be much use to anyone.
Yeah, they're going to go and help. I'm going to go to a save point and look in this magnificent water sphere as we end the episode. Guys, I will see you again soon. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.